Footy's back. You better bloody believe it. Ba-da, ba-ba, ba-da-da, ba-ba, 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 ba-ba. Footy Unfilterated. That's right. Episode 2. That's right. They allowed us to do another one. Can you believe that? I'm your host, James Clements. With me on the other side of this here screen is our main man in Amsterdam, a bloke whose team has yet to lose a game in this AFL season, unlike my stinking team. I'm wearing the hat this week. But Jez, what is cracking?
Mate, I'm just undefeated for the first time in a long time, so I'm just living it up. I went to the city the other day and I was walking down and I saw Harris Andrews and he had his back to me, and the next minute I was on the ground concussed. I didn't see what happened, but apparently he got me with a stray elbow. So, yeah, don't know.
I was wondering why there was a golf ball growing out the side of your head.
Yeah, you got to watch the old attack from Harris Andrews. So
I love the we'll get to this in a second, but I love the disc. Like, this is my favorite thing about doing Footy Unfilterated is that footy discourse is so dumb.
Oh.
And we're not going to make it any smarter.
You've come to the wrong place if that's what you're looking for.
So if you wanted Lee Joey Montagna telling you numbers he's read off a screen, they're not going to be here. But I am going to tell you why everyone else is wrong. That's what we do here. So footy is officially back for everyone this week, which is very nice. But today's show, we'll do a very quick round 0 wrap, basically covering everything that happened.
Yep.
We'll set you up for round 1. We'll do some awards from week 0 as well, round 0. But that's basically what we're going to do on Footy Unfilterated, right? Like, I think my biggest thing for it each and every time is essentially just going, what happened in footy? Now, what matters? And like for my brain, because that's all I care a lot about my brain, and you know that's about it. As that's kind of how these things go.
Yeah.
But basically, like so many other shows out there, just tell me what I care about. Like what matters? Just let me have it. So that's going to be it. And we're also going to track our picks. Jez has already got a lead, so yeah, not great. Anyway, let's dig in. It's footy without the ball. It's Footy Unfilterated.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do it. Jez, how excited are you now that footy is officially back?
I'm pretty excited, but I could be more excited.
Yeah?
Well, I mean, if all the teams had played this weekend, imagine how excited we'd be. I might not be as excited because we might not be undefeated. But how much better would it have been if we had a game on today?
So I think the whinging about opening round 0 is, for the most part, stupid. But it's also because they've now bastardized it and went, we've got to have one in Melbourne. It's like, well, if you're going to have one in Melbourne, have it on the day that everyone has off, you idiots.
Exactly.
What are you doing? Because I think I really, really enjoyed the spacing of this week.
Yeah.
And like a lot of my footy brain really, really enjoys having a very straightforward approach to when's the footy on?
Yes.
And can I watch it? And like the answer this week was mostly yes. The footy's on and I can watch it. I didn't mind like the fact that we had the Grand Prix on Sunday afternoon. Yep. Made it very easy to go, and now there's footy. This is great.
Yep.
Like I didn't need the early footy game on the Sunday. We had the Grand Prix, and then we go straight into St Kilda Collingwood. But if you're going to have it when there's a public holiday in Victoria,
have it on that day.
On the Monday. What are you doing?
They could have easily made one of those games on Saturday and moved that to the Sunday afternoon night and then played today. And it would have been great. We would have had footy every day. But instead, we've got a day off, essentially, where we could have had the traditional, well, not traditional, but the 3 o'clock start. And we could have been at the pub sinking tins watching the footy with every other bastard in Melbourne.
I still would have been stuck in traffic, apparently, same as every other bastard from the surf coast back to Melbourne. That was horrible. But anyway, I did spend the weekend down the beach, which was great. So, Carlton, Sydney, we'll get to that in a second, but like I do like my the beach house down there that's owned by my in-laws who are currently like literally in the middle of I think the Indian Ocean.
All right.
Having just been to Antarctica. But they've got a great just the telly's awesome. And
that's important, a sick telly.
And a beer fridge.
That's also important.
So this is better than my
Now,
house.
question:
Kelly's good. I've only just got a fridge.
distance from fridge to couch is very, very important.
It's about you do have to turn a corner and then go into the shed and then back out again. So it's not as close as at my house, but my house is a lot smaller than that one. So anyway, footy was back. It was great. What's the news that's come out of the weekend, Jez? We got a bit of tribunal action, as you mentioned. Harris Andrews.
Yeah. So we had the undisciplined Lions. They were a bit like the old unsociable Hawks from the from the three-peat, but Harris Andrews, they're carrying on about 3 weeks, but I think in this day and age, it's about right. I watched it a couple of times just to, try and act like I know what I'm talking about, but he threw his arm out intending to hit him. If you do that, you're trying to hit someone, and if you get them in the head and they're concussed, then you cop your whack, and I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's just stupid. Just stupid. So
it was weird.
Yeah.
Like, as you're watching it, it was just weird. And again, the discourse around is like, he wasn't trying to hurt him. It's like, if any time yes, careless is the phrase that we keep hearing, right? This one, he was careless. But to throw your arm back in a contest, it's just a bit strange.
He looked at him and then he threw an arm. Now, I'm sure he didn't intend to hit him in the head, but when you throw an arm like that in a contest, especially if you hadn't looked at him, I could almost go with that argument. But he looked at him, threw an arm, it hit him in the head, knocked him out. He had the wobbly boots on all the way off, and 3 weeks is I'm good. I would have been happy with 2 or 1, but you do the crime, you do the time. So move on. The Darcy Gardner one was another. I just brain snap. What happened there? So that was.
And Zach Bailey a week as well, which they're not going to contest, but they are going to contest the Harris Andrews and Gardner one. So I don't know. The other little bit of news was that we're going to bastardize opening round a little bit more, and the Crom want in. They're like, we want in, and can we also have one of the games? And you're like, this is just another round now, you idiots.
So then they want in, and then the following year it'll be Fremantle want in, and then Tassie will have to have a game when they come in. So who's going to be left not playing? 3 teams. What do we call it? Round 1.
Call it round 1. We're all fine with that.
Jeez.
I think there's also the weird hiccup once they hit. Obviously there's ground squeeze and all this sort of stuff with the Gabba redevelopments and stuff. Anyways,
I think it's a great time to play some of those games in the regional areas if you can. Why not use the grounds that they use in the preseason for some of the, you could come down to Melbourne and play St Kilda and Port Adelaide at Princes Park, or Ballarat has played AFL. Why aren't we? Why do we persist in playing in Ballarat in the middle of winter when it, as you and I both know very well, is freezing cold? Why don't we play there in the first weekend when there's a chance it might actually be above 0 and not blowing 100 miles an hour wind?
Where the Northern Oval is, it's still going to be blowing
it's a wind tunnel, but it could be a little less icy than it normally is. So
they should actually just kick opening round. You're right. Opening round should actually just be what NRL do, community round or whatever, right? And you sort of look at them and playing in Bathurst, and there's just dudes just standing up against the tins, and you're like, this is what it's all about.
100%.
Opening round in AFL should be the same, where it's just screw it, we're going everywhere around the country. We're going to open up to the community.
Grassroots.
Grassroots.
Go to Bunbury in WA. Go out to somewhere in regional South Australia. I'm not sure that they've obviously got finals up in the territory at that time, so maybe let them have their flowers, leave them alone. But there's opportunity there to grow the game internally instead of worrying about going to places like Vegas and India and all that sort of stuff. Let's focus on what we've got here. We've got a unique Australian game. Let's just play it here and play it where people actually want to see it.
You don't want to go to Shenzhen again?
No, thanks.
Send Port and St Kilda again. A couple more games. What is it? Collingwood, St Kilda in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, I don't know. There's lots of other newsy sort of stuff that'll pop off during the week, which will come down to mostly, debutants, round one, all these sorts of things. There's not a giant amount elsewise outside of that. Like the talk you'll cop this week will be, we should expand opening round and just call it round one. It's like, just do that. But I think the community round is the best idea because this is the sort of way to get just folks excited. Hit the grass, go. Footy is back, and it's back in a big way. Like, let's go to Waverley, Icon Park. We'll play in Waverley, play in Ballarat.
Yeah, let's just get it all around the joint.
I don't even know if there's a ground still at Waverley. But...
There's a ground, but I don't know that there's anywhere to sit. So
anyway, hey, let's wrap up. Round 0. Sydney 132, Carlton 69. Yeah, good game. Gold Coast.
Come on now. At half time, it was looking good.
So what we're going to do for each of the game wraps throughout this season, we're going to give me 3 things. I just need to know 3 things about this game, right? And they're just, for me, my footy brain is always nebulous. It's just like, what was that thing I remember for that thing the most? It's very simple. And what I remember the most from this game is that my heart was beating a million miles an hour at halftime going, what if we just won the flag? What if we're good? And then the third quarter happened, Jez, and we gave up the third highest score in a third quarter, I think, in history, which is bad.
Yes.
And we got obliterated.
Yes.
And looked completely overwhelmed and had no answers. And Sam Doherty was then played on Dan Gorringe's show without his knowledge, which is definitely illegal. So then all hell broke loose, and you kind of realizing,
it's not good.
Not great. So obliterated. But I think for the Sydney side of things, like Carlton looked good because literally Doc laid it out perfectly, right? The contested ball, it was all, grunty sort of stuff. Carlton were a little bit built for that. They managed to basically play the game they wanted to be played. And then Sydney went, enough of that. We're going to play it our way. And then we had no answers because I don't know how good our coaching staff is. But
yeah, that's a worry.
Number two was just watching Goulden run rampant, watching Heaney cop that big hit and then just sort of bounce up and just go, righto, now it's on. And you're like, oh, God. But I feel like that combination of like McInerney, Papley, Curnow, Amati Party, like it's just a lot, right? Like just every time, because they're fully healthy essentially going into this year. And it was kind of like one of those things going into this game. You're like, oh, they've got like basically a full list to choose from. That's horrifying because they're loaded. Yeah. And they obviously kicked the absolute bejesus out of us. And I guess the third thing to come out of this is that the Swans are obviously the greatest team we've ever seen.
So they've taken your flag already. Gee, that's disappointing.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this, the preseason flag, the Carlton won. Sydney now possess it. So whoever next beats Sydney, they get the flag. It's like a wrestling belt.
Gotcha.
But yeah, look, Carlton underwhelming in that second, like horribly underwhelming in the second half. Lack of composure, lack of polish, not a surprise. There's like some nice little moments, like Cooper Lord was awesome. Jagger was pretty good. But like everything else, you're just like, oh yeah, we don't have Chera out there. We don't have Akers out there. And like when you're saying stuff like that, you're like, that's bad.
Yeah.
Because they've not been, I don't know, burn the house down great. But look, Walsh had a couple of nice little moments. But the forward line of Harry and Will Hayward popping up and Brodie Kemp, it's just very whelming against a good team like Sydney. So good job by them. 132 to 69.
Yes.
Nice. Did you have any other thoughts on this game here, Jess?
Oh, I had quite a few thoughts. I was a bit with you at halftime going, I was joking. Carlton, are they this good? But Sydney, you hear that saying they flicked the switch. They were two different sides. Chad Warner was good from the start, and there was a few others that were here and there. Brodie Grundy, I thought, Pitney started well. I actually thought he was doing really well, getting on the scoreboard. And then once Sydney decided to turn up, all the influence that Pitney had was gone. Basically, Grundy broke even, got himself on the scoreboard. So that was one sort of big thing for me. the Swans, that second half, they're back. There was players in their side like Nick Blakey who didn't have a great year last year. Even Papley was off last year. Quite a lot. Goulden wasn't at his best. Second half, they were as good a side as any. They were grand final type side from the year before. The other one that is a worry, and I'm not sure how as good as the Sydney forward line were, and Curnow, he did his job. I don't think he was awesome, but he played his role, and that was all he needed to do with that forward line. Harry was underwhelming, and I was a bit worried. He snagged the goal late to make it look a little bit respectable, but when they needed him, he was nowhere to be seen. When he's marking the ball up at halfback, you know they're in trouble.
Yep.
So,
12 goals, 3 in the third quarter. It's just, I was at the, this point, just going, what, how, just how? Like, this is horrible. And then I think you had the sort of double goal where they gave it the 50 after the... There
was 2 of them.
Like, Jesus, what are we doing? Anyway, that stunk. It stinks. It stinks. What are you going to do? Good job by Sydney. They're winning the flag. Best team we've ever seen. Gold Coast 125, Geelong 69. Nice. Back-to-back 69s.
Woo!
It's a party up in the air. Give me some things. Christian Petrarca. He's very good still.
Yes. Is he what?
A tropical feast. Bloke went full surf and turf, I reckon. That was, I don't know how that fits in his Italian cuisine, but I don't know. It was incredible. That was awesome. But really, it was like, the Eulins doing a very good job across the wings, down the back.
Yep.
Bailey Humphrey carving it up from the get-go. But Noah Anderson looked incredible. They didn't have Matt Rowell, obviously, with his busted finger. Took Leo Lombard, wins the Rising Star nomination.
He was amazing. It was
awesome.
Just off the chain. It was great.
They just were incredible. And you've just got Petrarca going, well, you don't have Matt Rowell this week, so I'll just be awesome. Check this out. You're like, oh yeah. You are incredibly good at footy. And then so first one was Petrarca. Second one was everybody else on the Suns being unreal.
They were pretty good.
Mac Andrews getting paid $1 bajillion and was just sort of like, oh yeah, there's Mac Andrew. Look at him. He's doing good stuff. And you're like, all right. But Geelong, the one thing about them is just they didn't have Danger, they didn't have Jez, and they still looked old and slow, which was weird. It wasn't until late that they even got they were getting absolutely pumped. It was 85 points at one point, right?
They look. I was genuinely thinking 100s on the cards here, the way it was going, but yeah.
And Dempsey kicked a few late just to sort of give it a bit of respectability, but. That's, I don't know, this was my worry about Geelong, that they just sort of looked a little bit like a beat behind, which you don't really, sometimes this happens to the Cats though, and then they'll just turn around and still make the grand final. So of the two teams that lose this badly and score 69 points in the first 2 games, you feel much better about Geelong's ability to bounce back than Carlton's because track record is there and they didn't have Danger, they didn't have Jez. And you just have these moments of look, I think they'll be okay because maybe the Gold Coast Suns are just an absolute whirring death machine of awesome.
Scary, scary Suns. They are.
They didn't have Jed Walter. They don't need a bunch of their dudes. It's awesome. Anyway, any thoughts on this one, Jez?
Well, I just go back to what we spoke about last week with the guys that they gave up, how when you look at and obviously there's a few other games we're going to go through, but you look at the Flanders and the Buttericks and those guys that have played already and the impacts they had for the team, Gold Coast didn't miss them. That Zeke Uland, Bodie Uland, they looked the same, but thank God they got different numbers. But Zeke Uland for a first gamer was unreal. Bailey Humphrey, I can see why they did not want to let him go. He's taken another step. He looks unreal. I think even Ben King, I didn't think he was that good, but he still ended up with 4. He just, did what he does and kicked 4, and their defense is really solid. They're really hard to score on. They still have those sort of moments where they let one through that you go, oh shit, you shouldn't have done that. But that's a young team still sort of heading in the right direction.
They're so quick off like halfback and stuff. It's just amazing.
And it's so good to watch. It's so good to watch. I love watching the Suns. I really do. So
nice. GWS 122, Hawthorn 95. The Hawks sort of, I don't know what, clawed this back a little bit, but Jake Stringer.
Stop it. Stop it.
I mean, I was weirdly prophetic. I think did the prediction show at the start of last year. And like big call for that this season, essentially for GWS, was that Jakey Stringer wouldn't kick more than 20 goals. And I think he ended up kicking only 24?
25, I think. Yeah.
25, there you go. So something like that. And I think I was right there for most of the year until like he kicked a couple late. So anyway, but he was great points in this game, which is crazy. Clary looked like he rediscovered his love of footy, which is all good. Because especially with Tom Green being out, and I talked about this when we did the GWS preview last week.
Yeah.
Tom Green is like, the straw that stirs the drink. And then you go, oh, they could just put Clary in that role for a lot of it. And it's kind of the contested footy. He's all about this. He still feels like a little bit janky here and there, but they've got so much talent around him. Like when you just roll Whitfield and co through there again, you're just like, oh, they've just got a lot of dudes. And I mean, so one thing is Jake Stringer, amazing. 2, Clary. And then 3, the Hawks. This is like the game where I'm like, that's why they went after Zach Merritt. I get it.
Yeah, there's a big hole there, isn't there?
And, I don't know. What did you think about this game?
I think the Giants, their forward line is dangerous. You've got Jesse Hogan. If Stringer, this is a thing with Stringer. He did this at Essendon. He would play a few really good games early and get your hopes up. And then when you needed him, my hamstring. But I think that unlike Essendon, the Giants have actually got talent in their forward line, so they don't need to rely on Stringer like Essendon had to. Jesse Hogan was serviceable again with 3. Jake Riccardi, who I noticed in the preseason they were trying to play through the ruck as well, which is very interesting, but he's bobbed up with 3. They've got Cadman, who didn't play. They've got Toby Green, who didn't really impact the scoreboard. Apparently was on his best behaviour, according to an article I read earlier. But, that's Toby for you, I suppose. But they've got all these options. And, again, like you said, they've got midfield options. They've got Canelio, who got on the scoreboard. They've got Oliver. Tom Green's out, but they can just plug Clary in. They've still got Josh Kelly, who can't get on the park. If they can get him for any sort of time, it's going to be crazy. The other thing I noticed at this game is I noticed that there's a new goal umpire in the midst, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks was in the crowd giving the old 2-gun salute for a major. So
it's a bit weird. I'm like, I feel like we're just going to redo Forrest Gump, but instead of like playing playing for GWS or something. Clary had 10 clearances in this game.
The clearance king.
Chaos.
I think he's suited to their game style. Like, he just you can see how he fits in well. The other one who I thought was and it's another ex-Bomber, but Jaden Laverty just sort of slotted in there like he'd been there forever. So it breaks.
Jaden Laverty.
It hurts.
Like, who are we getting beaten by? Jaden Laverty.
It hurts my heart, but here we are.
Anyway, look, absolutely, like the Hawks vibe, though, just felt a little bit janky. You had Ginnivan, you had the Wizard. It felt, I don't know, just really inconsistent. They're like so much of their stuff last year is just like it felt like better than the sum of its parts. And this game, they felt like all of their parts, just completely separate.
It's almost like they're sort of believing their own hype a little bit.
Felt like that. Good win by GWS. Brisbane Bulldogs, we finally got a good game. This game rocked. Brisbane 106, Dogs 111. You'll be beauty. 3 things, give me 3 things. The Bont. The Bont is good. Absolute stunning gear from him. But I think the biggest thing about that is that they had blokes just sort of go massive all around him as well. Like Ed Richards is awesome. You had Libba, obviously, as per usual, being very well. Like Kennedy was incredible early. He had like 10 touches like before you could blink.
Do you still find yourself saying Carlton WTF.
I was at that game where they benched him and subbed him off against Brisbane in the elimination final.
Yeah, I remember.
Taking the squid up there, and you're just like, why are you taking... Like, Kennedy's the only dude who can maybe sort of turn some stuff around out of, like, nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what Kennedy does, and the Dogs use him so much.
And they just let him walk.
He's amazing. So, great job, Carlton. Well done, everybody. Buderick, as you mentioned, right? Like, you sort of see these guys come from the Suns. Like, even Ainsworth, when the Blues played, he was solid. He didn't have a massive game, but sort of did what he... I mean, you can sort of see his role getting bigger, but Buderick was incredible. Like, I thought he was really, really good. But I think that's kind of the thing. Like, the Dogs, so much of, like, number 3 of the gimme 3 things is that this is big for the Dogs, which I'll get back to. But so much of their stuff sort of simply comes down to, like, not losing games like this.
Yeah.
And they didn't lose this game. They won it. And this is why it was so big. So, number 2, the Lions absolutely felt like they were never out of second gear, I thought, and they were still right there with the Dogs' very, very, very best. Like, Lucky Neal almost had 40, but, like, it was still just like they knew that they could win the game almost at every moment of the game.
Yeah.
They never panicked, and they still nearly won it, and they probably could have, should have, would have. The Dogs, this was much bigger for them than I think it was for Brisbane, right?
Yeah,
that's the sort of takeaway I got. And I think they'll sort of gel a little bit more. They'll be fine, whatever. But this was really big for the Dogs. Big win. You could see Bevo post-game absolutely giddy with it all, having a great time. They sung the song with gusto. So, I don't know. What did you think of this one?
Yeah, I was much the same. Again, Kennedy is the one I can't get over the fact that Carlton let him walk and how much of an impact he's had at the Bulldogs. Like, he's almost that glue sort of guy. He's the Mr. Fix-It. He'll just go in and get shit going, like you said. And, if these other guys are having a down day, it always seems to be him that's in and under and getting it going. Charlie, for the Brisbane, Charlie's back. He had the motorbike going. He had the country road on repeat, and I think he ended up with 4. But he looked better for that whole game than he did for the entirety of last year combined. So... he was on one. Just the undisciplined Lions. Like, I think they'll obviously correct it. I think they're too good of a club to let that sort of stuff continue on. But at the same time, like you said, they look like they're in second gear. They're obviously not worried about a loss like that at this stage of the year. I think if they get to round 4 or 5 and they've had 3 or 4 of those losses, they might start to worry. But I reckon you'll probably find they'll be round 5, let's say at the worst 3-2, probably 4-1. Because I think they play both of our teams in that period, so there's a couple of wins. But I don't think it's anything to worry about for Brisbane. I can see them just going, we'll put that one down to experience and move on. Yep.
Yeah, Bont, 3 goals, 19 touches. He was awesome. It was just stunning how good he was. Tinglish around the ground. Sam Darcy didn't exactly dominate proceedings, but he's that big and that good. Every time they go forward, you're just like, Sam Darcy. Sam Darcy.
And then one day it'll all just click. Probably like, against Essendon.
He's Arthur Fortune. Sam Darcy.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to look at him. There you go. That might be our first Simpsons deep cut. Awesome win for the Dogs. Great start to their season. The sort of win they need.
Yeah.
And then the Pies, the old Pies, 78. The Saints, same old St Kilda, 66. Give me 3 things here. Very easy. Dacos, Naz, Pendles. Boom. That's my 3 things. Dacos had the easiest 40 touches you've ever seen. They, sent Garcia to him in the for a little bit. Was it the second or third?
Second and third. I think they tried it.
And just like a little bit of time, and it was just like, that sort of worked. And then outside of that, they demolished him. Naz was really well held by Perryman, which is really good.
Yep.
Awesome job on him. And Pendles, they went, wait a minute, we don't have a sub. We'll just sort of ease him into the game.
Yep.
And then turned out that worked pretty well because he was awesome late.
I think he had 5 goal assists in the second and third quarter alone. So,
did you know that he used to play basketball?
It's lucky I got a backrest because I would have fallen off my chair.
No one has ever mentioned that.
Never. They've also, you notice they haven't mentioned that he's 38 years old and he's about to break the game's record? I didn't know that until this week.
I think, was this the game that he tied Michael Tuck?
I believe it's the game he went past. I think. Right. Yeah, I think so. I think he's 4:27. Amazing. So he's only got old mate Boomer to chase down now. So
unreal. That's awesome. Yeah. Good on him. But like, I think those are the three big things, right? Like the Pies manufacturing 78 points. A lot of what we talked about last week about their sort of season ahead was, I'm watching this game. This is what we were talking about. Yep. All of this.
Degoe.
Like, he was so important to all the stuff that they were doing, right? You're like, this is chaos.
Steel side bottom. Yeah.
The Saints, though, this flip side of like, you can sort of feel like the different moving parts being added to it, just not quite fitting right just yet. And that's sort of like, oh, all right, well, this might take a little bit of time to sort of gel. TDK was solid, but Naz was obviously just really well held by Perryman. I mean, this is the thing where the hype is so real, and they go, well, just run a negating roll on him and we'll tag him out of it. And he was still good, but he wasn't great. And you're like, yeah, they kind of need him to be great to have that much of a chance because they're not rolling in awesome midfielders. No. He's fantastic. But the cool thing, I think, for the Saints was like, yeah, it's a bit of a kick in the guts, same old sort of St Kilda vibes. But they were right there until the end. The weird part for me, I think, in the last 3 minutes of this game is that the sort of spice went out of it. It's like, you're only 2 goals down. Like,
they seemed to take the foot off the gas, didn't they?
It was like in the last minute, they're just finally like, oh, God, actually, we can still And they sort of just didn't quite have it. It was like the last 2 forays into the 50, it was like a shank kick by Naz and then like another shank that went straight to the Pies. And you're like, oh, I guess that's that.
Yeah, and game over.
Oh, yep. Any other thoughts from you, Jess?
I just thought the Saints got a bit of stage fright. All the carry on before and after the game about their biggest crowd and all this sort of stuff. You played Collingwood. That's what happens when you play Collingwood. You know what their other biggest crowd was against Essendon when we gave them a home game, and we weren't even good. So shut up, St Kilda. I think they got in their own heads. They played Naz forward for far too much of that game when they needed someone to break the game open in the midfield. A lot of their players were quiet. Obviously, TDK was okay. Marshall going down early didn't help, so he pretty much had to do all the ruck work. The other newbies were okay. Liam Ryan kicked one, didn't do much else. I didn't really see much of Silvani. Flanders had 28 in the end after a real quiet start. Yeah,
was amazing.
Yeah. And that's what he gives you, isn't it? He'll give you that.
What a goal, though. But, he also missed another one. You probably should have kicked that one.
But they missed a lot of easy shots at goal, St Kilda. I did listen to a quarter of this on the radio while I was walking the dogs. So, and they just seem to miss a lot of their possession efficiency from what I saw was pretty average. And Collingwood, they were just all over him. Like steel side bottom at one stage, I think he pulled off a left foot kick to Schultz around 3 defenders, and it was just pinpoint. And that summed up the whole game. That Collingwood, they've been there, done that. St Kilda want to be where Collingwood are, and that's how it is.
Yeah, it's games like this with like all that experience of like Houston and Chris, side bottom handles. Like it all sort of just it becomes much more additive, and like they're not afraid of the moment. Whereas the Saints are still learning about that.
Yeah, and it helps when the Dacosses have 77 touches combined. So,
bad. All right, we got some awards from the week. Then Gablett Areas. This is your best on ground of the week easy for me. It was Petrarca. I wrote this down like the day I think he was like, I'm like, Petrarca's winning this one for me. And Bont put his hand up to sort of go, hang on, Jim, check this out. But I think Petrarca ended up with 3 goals and 34 touches. So, yeah, he wins it for me. Just gives that Gold Coast team like a sort of a superstar heft that they haven't ironically had probably since Gablett, right? Like they've got so many good dudes. They've had other dudes sort of cycle in through there. But that absolute A-grade super duper star they kind of just added because Melbourne are morons and like it's such a slap in the face. It's like, hey, remember how I died? And you kind of guys were just like, hey, is he all right?
Can you go back on?
It's like,
please.
Go back We're not going to check up on you in the hospital either, just FYI. But yeah, and we're not going to tell your wife that you might die. Nothing sus. Good job. But Petrarch was incredible, and I was stunned by how good he was in that game. So that was awesome for me. What about you, Jez?
Well, I was going to go with Petrarca because he just dominated and looked like he enjoyed it too. But and again, Bont put his hand up, but I've gone with young Nick Dacos. 41 touches on the big stage, just showed St Kilda how to perform in front of a big crowd like that. So I think he's got his first 3 votes for the year. So going to be hard to beat if he keeps playing like that.
I did like a lot of the reporting after it as well. It's like, this is why we changed our best and fairest voting system because we just want him to keep on winning it.
Yeah.
Darcy Cameron won it last year or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it Darcy Moore? One of the Darcys.
I think it was Cameron. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Cameron. But, yeah.
Anyway, Spud of the week. Spud. Who spudded up? Sard. Woof.
That's harsh.
This is the thing about the Blues as well. Like when they don't have that sort of run and gun off the back from Sard, obviously no Nick Newman just yet. McGovern is sort of all over the shop as per usual because he's Mitch McGovern. But Sard, like when he gets going, when he's absolutely flying around, like that's when the Blues are at their best. It just never happened. Sputtered it up. Bit of a shocker. The other one was Oscar Allen. Like didn't have much of an impact for like a dude where you're like sort of bending over backwards to go get him or to steal him from the Eagles. And again, to sort of fit into that Joe Danaher role, they're very different players, but I was expecting a little bit more from Oscar Allen 2+, which was his nickname for years and years and years. But I don't know, there's some other sort of spuds floating around, but they're probably the two that stood out to me the most watching these games. I'm like, just do more. What are you doing? Come on.
Oscar Allen seems like a real weird fit there. He just doesn't seem to fit they've already got, as I mentioned last week, they've got Hipwood, who's obviously out. But Logan Morris, I'm not sure that I don't know. I don't know that they needed Oscar Allen. So, but obviously they wanted him and they're going to work out a way to get him in there. And maybe that's all it is. Maybe he just needs to play a bit of footy. Like he's obviously missed, half of last year. And I think the most amount of games he's had in a year is 11 in the last 3 or 4 years. So Brisbane have obviously got some sort of magic pills up there that they get these injury-prone players right. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he just needs to get on the whatever the juice is they've got up there in Queensland and get his body right and go down to the farm with Joey and not watch TV.
Love it. Just hang out.
Yeah.
Just vibes, man. Just vibes. How about you? Who's your spud of the week?
I'm going to upset some Geelong people here because I know how much they all love him, but Bailey Smith.
Bailey Smith.
He had a little bit of it, but he had absolutely zero impact on that game.
Yeah.
I think the grand final performance is in his head, and I hope for him, and because he is so good to watch, that he actually pulls his head out of wherever he's got it at the moment. But I can see the cracks starting to appear down there with Bailey Smith. So
interesting. That's a good one. There's a more high profile one that I would have picked probably from like Brad Close. I think on Geelong was the one I'm like,
yeah.
What's he doing?
I went and I thought about that, and I went through the stats, and I thought, and I looked at Bailey, and I thought he still had, I think he had 18 or 20 or something like that. But I'm like, when I was watching the game, he didn't actually do anything. And when you're that high profile of a recruit, he came, second or third in the Brownlow last year. He was, aside from his grand final, he basically was unreal all year. In the first game of the year against the team that is now, believe it or not, the premiership favourite, to not even fire a shot. And again, he did it. He started carrying on late when the game was well and truly over. It's like, come on, mate. That's when I'd be pointing to the scoreboard and saying, off you go, little fella. Have a look at that and take yourself off to the bench. So
I think you've tied the headband too tight.
I think he might have, yeah. So
nice. All right, better than Bootsma, who was a good young bloke who's not sending pictures randomly on the internet. Don't do that. Jagger, obviously. That's too obvious.
It's pretty good.
This is the thing that we did. So NBA Straya, obviously, we do better than Lonzo Ball, the super hypey kind of dude. Boots is maybe not that dude either, but it's alliterative. So I'm going to roll with that for the minute. Cooper Lord, however, for the Blues was awesome, especially in the first half.
First half is very good, yes.
Absolutely everywhere, doing lots of good stuff. Drops off. But then, obviously, the Rising Star nominee this week was Leo Lombard. He was absolutely amazing.
Very
and,
good.
I think I talked about him pretty quickly on the AFL Supercoach show that we did the end of last week. And I was like, all right, this is the awesome thing that we get for round 0 is it's a free look at players like Leo. And you're like, oh, what's his role going to be? Like how much do they trust him? Because he's still like 19, right? Like he's super duper young.
And he had that Cyril type aura about him whenever he went near the ball. You're like, oh, what's he going to do? I didn't know who he was until I watched that game, and I was, pleasantly surprised. He was awesome.
Yeah, so he's better than Bootsma for me, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Cooper Lord gets the initial nod early on. That was really, really, really good. Enjoyed that from him. But Leo Lombard, what a gun. How about you there, Jess?
I've pulled one a little bit from left field. I've gone with, from the Giants, Joe Fonte.
Joe Fonte?
Joe Fonte. So he was named among their best. He had 22 touches, 9 marks and a tackle. I just thought he was solid for a young bloke. Came in, did his job. I believe he's only played a handful of games. I could be wrong. Let me just have a quick look. He played most games played 23 games since 2024. So he's been, there and thereabouts. But I just thought he was good, solid contributor. I almost went for Phoenix Gotthard, who kicked that goal in the last quarter there. But when I sort of went back and had a look through, I thought, oh, that was all he did. So maybe I'll find someone who actually performed well for the whole game. But he was good through the middle of the game, I thought, when Hawthorn was sort of pressing a little bit. I thought he was really good. Good, solid performance from a young player. So
love it. It's pretty good. I was also sort of kicking the can on like just a couple of the other dudes, and he's like, "Oh, who had more of an impact though than Leo, or maybe Cooper?" And it just you can't you could easily just go like, "Give me an Uland." It doesn't really matter which one. And then I'm like, their haircuts are just too Gold Coast.
Yep.
Right, they're sort of the dude at the bar who starts something with you, and you're like, I'm too old. Get it. What?
Yeah, they look like they've just come straight from the polo or something like that.
I love it. Right, that's it. Week 0 is in the bag.
Ooh,
round 0 is. How about round 1? Should we preview this, Jess?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Right. Footy's back. We're starting on Thursday with the traditional Carlton Richmond, and I'll tell you what, I will be at this game. I wasn't planning on being at this game, but the Squid is playing Auskick at halftime now.
Hell yes.
So very exciting.
That is awesome.
He's done it once before, and again in a massively high-profile night game. He was like halftime of Carlton Collingwood last year, where we got obliterated.
That's awesome. Aside from that, that's
hopefully.
I remember doing the back in the day. It was Vic Kick and playing at Waverley for Carlton of all teams, and it was back when they had the two. We played Carlton against Melbourne, and they used to do the half ground. So you'd have the main goals, and then you'd have another set at the halfway mark. And I wore number 1, and I was playing full back in front of the Carlton cheer squad. And every time I went near the ball, I got the whole Carlton cheer squad cheering for me. And it was one of the best things I've ever done. So I hope the young fella has an absolute ripper time, because it's one of my oldest son got to play. I think he kicked a couple of goals and did what he does. But he said the best thing back then, he's a bit too old to be talking like this now, but he said the best thing he did was high-five the crowd on his way off. So nice. That was his memory from that back when he was 6 years old. So, but yeah, awesome. Ripping time for kids. Love it.
I can't believe that you got to be the greatest fullback of the century.
Got me name in the footy record too. That's one of my life achievements. Don't tell my wife and kids. But.
I do like the simple idea though. Yours kicked a couple of goals, high five the crowd. The Squid, when he played last night, he didn't get a touch. So this time, hopefully, he's been practicing over
participation.
He tries hard, which is good.
Yeah,
so the Blues are 18.5-point favourites against the Tigers, which is very low, and it's probably a lot lower than the look-ahead line would have been after they got their heads kicked in by Sydney. My fear for this game, Jez, is that Richmond do the thing where they play their best game of the season in the first game of the season up against a team that has very large holes in it and has the mental fortitude of a paper mache balloon. So I'm a bit worried. But
so you're confident?
Yeah. So I'm like, do I accept this for the squid for the halftime thing? Oh, God. Because, look, Carlton should be better than Richmond. They should win this game. The 18.5-point line is pretty terrifyingly bang on. The Tigers, it feels like this could be the win if they just, like, if everything sort of clicks, right? Like the off-season that they've had, it all sort of just works. And they did it maybe 3 or 4 times last season where they played and you watched them and you went.
And all the young kids just gelled, yeah.
Like you got Lawler going absolutely ham and just all this sort of stuff. And that's what my fear is, that they just do that to the Blues. Flip side, Carlton bounce back from that, have the game under their belt, play better. Harry McFive kicks Harry McFive, and we just take care of some of these kids, and it's all good. So I'm going to tip Carlton minus 18.5 and hope for the best because, hopefully it's much more like the first half of last week than the second half. What about you, Jez? What do you reckon?
I am going to go with you on that one. I'm going to go the Carlton minus 18.5. I think that Carlton were looking pretty good for half a game, and what Sydney did to them was a team that I and ahhed about on the season preview. But I think after that game, I think they're going to probably be that top 8 side that I wasn't sure they'd be, and I think they're going to be very hard to beat. So don't be surprised if Sydney do that to a few more teams.
Yep.
What will be interesting is if Richmond do win, Michael Voss might be safer in Iran than walking down Lygon Street in Carlton.
Yeah.
I reckon if they lose, and if they lose badly, it could be has anyone been sacked after round 1? Because technically it's round 1.
Round 1 is very aggressive, isn't it?
But it could happen.
Verbal meme, the New York Jets guy swiping his card at the doors. That could be Michael Voss on.
There could be a truckload of manure dumped at Optus Oval.
Just don't let Luke Sayers send any photos. All right.
What is it with Carlton people and doing that?
I know. There we go. We're both taking the Blues, and for my squid's sake, hopefully they do win. Friday, this is a huge round 1 game. Essendon, Hawthorn, 2 rivals, blood in the sand. Was it line in the sand?
Line in the sand.
Yeah. Line in the sand games. Blood in the sand sounds way tougher. I'm just saying. The Bomb Rays are plus 28.5. So 28.5-point underdogs, which feels, I don't know, after last year for Essendon, probably a little bit generous. But again, I think this has been a little bit depressed after Hawthorn's showing in round 0. But it feels about right. The Hawks, a little bit off the boil this week. The Bomb Rays with a bit of the air of pre-season optimism still floating around them. It hasn't yet been popped like it has for the Blues. So I don't know. How do you feel about this game, Jess?
Well, I mean, the Hawks are 0-1 and they're coming up against the undefeated Bombers. So I'm going to back me boys. I'm going to take them to cover. I have absolutely zero confidence in them doing so, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. As I said last week, I was happy with what I saw from the young kids last year. And if we can take a few steps forward, so if we get done by 3 or 4 goals, but we give a bit, then I'll be happy. If we win, I'll obviously be happier. But yeah, I think we can cover that. And I wasn't overly convinced by Hawthorn, and I think, as we mentioned earlier, they've got a little bit, still got a little bit of improving to do, Hawthorn. So hopefully they don't do that for another week at least. So.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Dons as well, just for the. I think there's enough run and gun with the Bombers, and we've sort of seen that in the last couple of years where their defense is shaky enough that it feels like they just go a little bit all out offense, and we know the Hawks can have a crack at that, but I think the Bombers can stick if they don't win it, I think they can keep it at least
Yeah.
respectable. And I think the 28.5 is like keeping it respectable. So I'll take that.
The sidebar to this one will be how Zach Merritt goes up against Hawthorn. I think that the AFL missed a trick by not making this an opening round fixture, especially after all the carry on with Hawthorn missing out on him. And I would love it, as not just as an Essendon supporter, but just for the theatre of it, if he went out there and got 40 touches and absolutely torched them. That'd be hilarious. So,
one thing we didn't have in the news section was how I think for Secret Santa, Zach Merritt was gifted a signed Ginnivan jersey by one of his own Essendon teammates, which is just amazing.
That is the best. That is so good. I love it. I did not know that. That is so good.
Perfect trolling.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Saturday, we go to Dogs GWS. A weirdly heated rivalry because these two teams, there's no love lost here, Jez. This is a rivalry forged in the fires. I don't know, a couple of weird finals losses and like plenty of weird, just like so many strange matchups in their past.
The Callum Ward Cup.
This isn't Marvel as well, so this one's not in Ballarat, which is I think where they've played a couple of their matchups the last few years. So this is a so Callum Ward, Tom Boyd, like just like plenty of players back and forth between these two. And the Dogs are 20.5 point favourites actually now over GWS. I really like them at Marvel, and so I'm going to take the Dogs because I think GWS, a lot of will be made about how they have like the most travel this year. They play in the most venues, all this sort of stuff. But the thing is, I think the Dogs at Marvel, they're a lot of the time pretty terrifying. GWS, not too bad like the couple of times I've actually spied them in person there too.
Yeah.
But I think the Dogs just will be on one. And I feel like it's this really going from the Gabba to the Marvel surface. They should be flying into this one. And I think they win this one pretty handily. So I'm going to take the Dogs.
Yeah, I think the Dogs will win, but I think it's going to be a bit closer than that. So I'm going to take GWS to cover. I was just impressed. I was obviously impressed by both teams. Like the Dogs beating the reigning premiers the way they did was amazing. But I think GWS are a bit stronger than what a lot of people think they're going to be. I think they cover all their bases well, and they seem to have a lot of sort of a bit of a next man up mentality. So they seem to be able to plug the holes so far. Obviously, a couple more injuries and that all goes out the window. But, I'm going to take GWS to cover. I think it's going to be I hope it's going to be a close game. Another cracker for the Dogs. If they can win two close games against what will most likely be top 8, possibly top 4 sides, that's an awesome start for them. So, yeah.
So, Sam Taylor as well.
Yep.
He can play round 0. I don't know if he's going to play round 1. It's a strange one. I feel like they've just got that much size between like Norton. They had O'Donnell down back.
Yep. And
then you got roaming English. Obviously, Sam Darcy, and then like when you can throw Bont forward as well, it's just an embarrassment of riches. But I really, the 20.5 felt a little bit rich when I saw it. I'm like, are you serious? 20.5? Like, GWS won this week.
Yeah.
What are you doing? But then I'm like, I've talked myself into it, and I think they win it pretty handily. But then we have Geelong Freo, 10.5 point favourites. A weird game. Freo, I don't know. It's just, this is it, Cardinia Park. GMHBA. Are you with HBA? Head with that way. No, I went that way. And 10.5 points feels rich, I think, for the Cats. If they win this, I think it's a real close one. I'm going to take Freo at the line, the 10 plus 10.5, because I think they're tall timber up forward between Tracy and Voss and Jai Miss and all their dudes up against that Cats back line. I don't know. I'm just a little bit.
They didn't look good this week. Yeah, I'm going to go Freo to win the game.
Nice.
I have no confidence in Geelong at the moment unless there's even if Jezza and Danger come back, which I don't know if Jezza's plans. If Danger might be an in, But I can't see him changing the game that much for them. And Freo, they could be up there with the Suns. They've got that much promise on their list that if they click, that could be another big loss. And it'd be even worse for them if they lose big down there at their spiritual home.
Yeah. It's weird. It's going to be a really strange one, but I think...
And all the Geelong people watching and listening to this are going to hate me and probably going to let me know about it, but just make your team good again and I'll shut up.
I like it. The GMHBA Fortress vibes have always been for real, but there's like always one or two teams that just go, we don't care. And it's like Freo and GWS, whatever, I think they roll in and just go, cool, man.
Brisbane have always done well there. I think the Suns have won a couple there now, so...
Anyway, so I'm going to take Freo. I think that between Sarong, Brayshaw, just that, like if Hayden Young is up and about, and if he's actually playing,
I believe he is. I'm pretty sure he's up, ready to rock and roll.
He was dinged up like in the last practice match, but I think it wasn't too crazy serious. But I don't know, I just kind of really like Freo this week. We talked about it last week, and here we are. Sydney, Brisbane. This game rocks already. How do we get this for round one? This is one of the two. Like we've got an awesome Saturday night lineup this week. It's chaos. I love it. Thank you. Like you can make a massive hullabaloo about round one. I've talked about this before. Like round one, sometimes you're kind of like, we don't really need the top-notch, knock-em-dead matchups because we're just happy that footy's back.
Yes.
But to have a couple in there is very nice. Like you've got Carlton, Richmond, whatever. Both teams stink. Essendon Hawthorn's a ripper. Dogs GWS is chaos.
That's great.
And this, and then the following one are very, very, very good. Yeah. You've also got the JHF couple anyway on Sunday. But Sydney 15.5, Brisbane. How do you feel about this one, Jez? I'm feeling Sydney, I think, at home, but the 15.5 worries me, so I might take Brisbane at the line.
I'm on the fence with this one. I don't like the line, but I can also see Sydney. If Brisbane turn up and play like they did against the Dogs, I can see Sydney winning by 5 or 6 goals. So I'm gonna go Sydney at the line because I think that I think Brisbane are just they're still relaxing after a grand final win. So I think they'll turn up to play maybe round 2 or 3. Even though I did say earlier that by round 5 they could be 3-2. So let's say this is theirs 2 and they're going to win the next 3. But no, I'm going to go with Sydney. I'm going to go out on a limb, go with Sydney at minus 15.5, and we'll see what happens. Because I think Sydney are that team. If they get a sniff, they'll just run on with it.
Last 2 matchups: 92-90 Sydney win, 86-82 Lions win. They were both last year, and then obviously the year
both
before
crackers too.
Yeah, year before that was the grand final. So, and then actually, to be honest, the games before the grand final
were
awesome
ridiculous too. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. I'll take the points. Very simple for me. So, what do you reckon? You're going to go?
Yeah, I'm going to go Sydney minus 15.5.
Nice. And actually, I think I've now got that Geelong Freo vibe. So Geelong smashed Freo there last year.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, Freo beat them there.
Freo's had a lot of success there in the recent past.
Beat them as well.
Yeah.
So just saying, don't mind.
Yeah.
Collingwood, Adelaide, again, like not a traditional massive, huge matchup, but that's a very fun game of football. So This is a very awesome Saturday night. The Pies are 4.5-point favourites at home against the Crom. Did Collingwood do enough here, Jez, to convince you to take them against the Crom?
It's hard because they played St Kilda, and St Kilda were the same old St Kilda. So do you go with St Kilda or just the Saints that they've always been with a couple of new faces, or do you go with the Saints are going to be good, they just shit the bed a little bit? But I think Collingwood, I mean, winning form's good form. I hate cliches, but it's true. If they play half as good as what they played there, they're in with a shot of winning the game. Having said that, I have picked Adelaide to win the flag, so I'm going to go with Adelaide.
I like it. My initial thought is like, yep, cool, Adelaide, sweet. And then I think Collingwood have won the last 4 of the last 5 matchups, And yeah, the ones at the MCG, Collingwood have won the last 3 straight at least. So yeah, it's a bit pie heavy. The point where I keep on scrolling, and it takes us back to 2015, the last time Adelaide beat Collingwood at the MCG. So
I'm going to stick with them, but I might change it before the game.
it was a tie back in 2017.
Yes.
Pros were really good, but
I'm taking Adelaide to cover.
I'll take the Adelaide plus 4.5 as well. I agree with that, because that could be an absolute ripper of a game.
I hope so.
We just don't know what the Crom are going to be like this year. They could stink out of the gate and then get really good again. Who knows?
Yeah.
Sunday, the Jason Horn Francis Cup.
The Hornet.
North Melbourne Kangaroos are 8.5-point underdogs against the Port Adelaide Power, which is pretty funny. Because I looked at that and went, that's a bit of a slap in the face of the Power, but also I'm like, that's a pretty bang-on line, though. So I was a little bit, I was hoping for a little bit more value or the other in that one, but that's got me a bit worried, because I would have, like, if it was a little bit more, I would have been all over North. This is at Marvel. It's like one of those really strange early games. Port beat them only by, I think, 9 last year, so the 8.5 is like terrifying.
About right.
Port have obviously smashed them, though, in the interceding 4 or 5 times before that, when North were legitimately horrible. I'm going to take North plus 8.5, though. I think I'm not crazy about the Power this year. I'm not also crazy about the Roos, but I think they should be able to make a little bit of a statement and keep this one close, if not win it outright. So I'll take the points.
I think I'm big on Port Adelaide having a slide, and I think if North want to show their fans and the rest of the comp that they're actually improving, this is a game they need to win. So I'm going to take North as well. I am disappointed, though, that Port didn't pick up our mate Sleevo, so that we would have had the first Sleevo Cup. So we'll have to campaign for them to maybe pick him up next year. But, yeah, a bit disappointed in your Port Adelaide. You had a chance to do something special.
So I'm official. Like, I've been on Clarko watch since he was literally hired by the Roos. And Clarko ball was a big thing that I screamed about for a full AFL season, much to my own humour. Roo ball, Clarko ball. And they ended up losing 18 games or something. We didn't do any big calls or anything in the initial show, but like the Clarko thing, it's wearing thin. Yeah. And I'm fascinated to see how this year goes, for the simple idea of like, he's a master coach. Or did he just have really good players? Did he just have really good players? Because when he had really good players, he wasn't very good. So here we are.
Well, that's the thing. If he goes for another, even if they win this week and then they lose the next 6 or 7, he could be. Sorry, got to do it for the kids.
Yeah.
My daughter's laughing at me out there. So, but if they go on a streak like that and lose again, he could be the second coach sacked after Michael Voss.
Love it. He really could.
So,
who are they going to go to, though? Can they afford it? Then we have Melbourne in the Jack Steele Cup.
Look out.
Plus 9.5 against the Saints. That's a weird game, isn't it? I don't have too many raps on the Demons this year. I don't feel great about them. I don't think too many people do either. 9.5 felt strange right out of the gate as well. I'm going the Saints. This is also one of those lines where you look at it and go, what do they know?
I think they know what we know, that Melbourne are garbage. I'll be interested to see, obviously when a team has a new coach, it's always interesting to see how they respond, or whatever you want to call it, to the coach. But yeah, St Kilda, I think they've had their first little taste of a big crowd, and they'll obviously go and watch Melbourne, who will probably have a handful in the members, some of which hopefully have listened to this. Hello, boys. You can slap me later. I think St Kilda should absolutely smash them. That should be, I think 9.5 is too low.
Yep. I was stunned by the 9.5.
Yeah.
I'm like, that should be like 20.5.
Yeah.
It should be around that sort of 4-goal mark, I would have
thought. I'd swap that line with Essendon and Hawthorn, if, to be honest with you. Even it's probably a little bit low for Essendon and Hawthorn, but that 28.5 would be about where I'd have that game, because I think that St Kilda should get out to an early lead and just cruise.
I can't see them 0-2 to the start of the year, right?
And if they are, well,
all hell.
Yep.
Ross Lyon, not so funny now, is it? All right. So Jez gone the Saints as well. Then we have the Battle of the Coasts. I love a good coast battle. Gold Coast, West Coast. Which one's better? We're about to find out. I'm pretty sure it's Gold Coast. 60.5 is the line, the biggest line of the season, obviously. And I'm not afraid to take that. I took that in a heartbeat. Gold Coast, bang, lock it in. The Eagles will probably put up a bit of a fight to kick things off. But this is in the Gold Coast. Like if this was out west, you'd feel a little bit more, maybe they keep it close. No, they travel. They're going to get absolutely smash-marated. So I'm taking my beloved Suns.
Yeah, the Brandon Matera Cup. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with your Suns also, because I think they should smash them. I'd take the line if it was 100.
Yep.
I think that Leo Lombard, Ben King, Bailey Humphrey, Chaka might have 50 and kick 6.
He might. It's chaos. I'm excited. All right, there you go.
That's it.
That's all 9 games in round 1. The picks tracking, I think, did I go 1 of 4 against the line last week, I think? I think I took the Hawks. Did I take the Dogs? I can't even remember. It's all written down on the socials, so I can actually probably just check that. But anyway, we'll be tracking the picks all season long because that's what we do. And I went Blues, Suns, Hawks. I did go the Dogs. So did you. So, yeah, you won up because we were 1 different and you got it right. So,
yeah.
So Jez is +1 for the season. So I owe him 1 beer. We haven't discussed that yet, but, yeah, it's on beer.
It sounds like it's what's happening. I'm good with that.
All right, Sleevo's Punters Club. Mine hit last week. What did you have in Sleevo's Punter Club?
I had the Suns to win between 1 and 24. And it did not hit.
Not hit. Mine did because I had Kerno 3+.
Yes.
And he got there just at the end, actually, which is good. Best bet for week 1. Mine was actually Gold Coast 60+ before I saw that the line was already 60. So I still feel fine about this. Like, well, it doesn't have to be an expensively crazy out there bet. This is just my best one for the week. I'm just taking Gold Coast 60+. They're unreal. Sucked in. Jez, what do you got?
I'm going to go for Nick Dacos 35+ disposals. So it's paying I think it's paying about $2.75 at Sportsbet. So I actually put $10 on both of our best bets last week. So I'll keep a bit of a running tally. You're obviously ahead because mine didn't come up. So I'll update that every couple of weeks and see who's ahead on their tips. So I'll do the same again. I'll put $10 on each of them and see how we go.
Nice.
See if we can buy ourselves a slab at the end.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about.
Or I have to mortgage a house again.
Nice. All right,
That's it.
All right, Dacos against Adelaide 35+, Gold Coast 60+. Lock him in. That is it though. I think we've got. There we go. The outro music. You beauty. That is the round 1 preview show for Footy Unfilterated done for you. So, I don't know. I am absolutely locked in for this weekend. I'm not going away. I've got pub cricket on Sunday, so I'm already drinking. But the cool thing is we've got that Gold Coast game is late Sunday. I think it's like a 6:30 start.
6. Yeah.
Perfect.
Bang
Come
on.
home slamming on the couch. Boosh.
Hell
Check
yes.
it out. But I do love that the Thursday game, the Friday game, I'm going to be at the Thursday game, obviously. The Friday game.
Hopefully be at the Friday game.
Awesome. So it's going to be an awesome weekend. I can't wait. Jez, you excited?
I'm pumped. Cannot wait. Go Bombers.
All right. Go follow us over on the socials. We'll keep building these up. Basically, when we've got time to do more stuff on the socials, you'll just see stuff pop up. It'll have our picks at least each week and a couple of other little things that we like. So, but make sure you subscribe on your podcast app of choice. On YouTube, jump over there. You can find it, Footy Unfilterated. You can see our mugs doing this each week. We'll do more and more stuff as well. We'll do power rankings, etc. That's a big thing that we do with NBA Australia, NFL Australia, etc. So go check out the YouTube, all the other things as well.
Send us a message. Send us some questions, some yeah-nahs.
We are going to do yeah-nahs on this show, same as we do on all the other shows. So we just need some yeah-nahs. Now that we've gotten into the season proper, we need some yeah-nahs. So send them through. All right, that's it. Jez, Thanks for that. That was good. I guess
stuff.
for everybody else, stay off the rubbish gear. This is Footy Unfilterated, and we will catch you next week.